For me, when I was young, I can look back and see the root of codependency. I had a kind of a bad family experience when I was growing up. Didn't feel valued at all by my dad especially. And when you don't, have that, when you have that deep father wound, you often look for that from another person, like a man. When you get older, no, maybe this person will speak value to me. And so you start to put all of your eggs in that basket, like this man must make me feel happy, must make me feel valuable. And so I would serve, overserve, hoping that would, make me feel good about myself, but it's very codependent. And then also because I was raised in a household with a lot of rage and yelling, anytime that anyone would raise their voice, I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever I could do to make everyone keep calm, which becomes very codependent too. So how did I transition out of that? I finally just realized that I cannot look to a person to be my everything, that is never gonna work. Mm-hmm. And so I finally realized God is my number one relationship. And I've said this before, and I kind of got looks of I don't know, they were appalled when I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. If my husband got run over by a truck tomorrow, I would be okay. I would carry on. I would grieve. I would miss him. Don't get me wrong. I love Raul, but I would be okay. I would say, well, Lord, after grieving, I'm not trying to minimize that I would not grieve. But after grieving, I would pick myself up and okay, what is the next adventure that we'll be going on together? Because I've partnered with God as my number one relationship. So it doesn't really matter if Raul's in a foul mood today. I'm not going to walk on eggshells because my whole identity and value is not based on what mood he is in. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's really I have this relationship with God. I'm partnering with Raul in life. I'm trying to be his helper. I'm compassionate. I'm encouraging. I try to let him lead the home and all those things. And he does things likewise for me. And I'm blessed that that's the case because sometimes husbands are not going to reciprocate, right? But still, my main relationship was with God. And I hope you get that point if you get nothing else tonight. But let's get to some specific steps that might help you become less codependent. Number one, recognize your codependency by leaving your childhood and dependent thinking that says, I can't live without you, and embracing mature thinking that says, I want you in my life, but if something were to happen, I could go on without you. Does that make sense? This is like a pivotal change, a shift that we need to have in our thinking. I love you, but I'm no longer going to be in this mode of I can't live without you. Yeah. You're my everything. No, I want you in my life, but if something were to happen, I could go on without you. Huge shift that will free you from codependent thinking. Also, by establishing several balanced relationships with godly women, instead of just one exclusive relationship with your husband or boyfriend. And we all did that when we were dating, right? It's just, especially if you're in high school, it's I found a boyfriend. I don't have time for anyone else now because it's just me and him, and we're just it's just us. And it's just so neurotic and it's codependent and now all of your eggs are in that basket again, right? So when he dumps you, you are ripped apart. Not that happened to any of you, but practically came begging to go take me back. Yeah. Okay. Next, look at how your codependency developed. How did you start neglecting yourself and start focusing on taking care of the needs of the other person? When did this happen? What happened? That you just kind of started neglecting yourself and you started focusing on them, either pleasing them, trying to keep them calm so they don't get agitated, whatever it might be. And by the way, we are supposed to take care of ourselves. When Jesus was asked in Matthew 22 what the greatest commandment was, he said the first one was to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and spirit. But then he said the second one is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself, which kind of implies that you love yourself. How can you love other people if you can't even love yourself? So you are supposed to love yourself and take care of yourself. So when did you start neglecting yourself and start focusing on this other person? Just something to kind of ponder. How did you start neglecting God and stop relying on Him to meet your needs? When did this happen? What happened? How did you start? Maybe you just got busy, because that happens, and you just don't have any time for God. I'll get to you later, whatever. And all of a sudden, He's not your main relationship. What can you do to fix that? And how does your codependent relationship reflect the pattern of your painful childhood experiences? Because I was able to kind of trace back. You heard me talk about, okay, I see that now, the rage when I was young made me walk on eggshells, and so now I, still have a tendency to walk on eggshells. Oh, okay. Sometimes you need to do a little pondering, like, where did this all come from? Because then you recognize it and go, oh, I see. This has been following me, this little, bag of junk. I've been carrying it around with me, right? So sometimes that's worth pondering. Third, learn to develop balanced relationships that include healthy boundaries. Learn how to both give and receive in the relationship. Learn how to lovingly but firmly set boundaries on disrespectful or destructive behavior in the relationship. And this means following through with consequences for such behavior that could include everything from, if he's maybe yelling obscenities at you, you leave the room. Maybe that's just the consequence. You have boundaries. I'm not going to listen to this. I do not allow someone to treat me this way. I'm leaving the room. Or it could mean all the way to leaving the house or asking him to leave the house if it was something really, really bad. But do you have boundaries? Can you stand up for yourself and say, no, that's way across the line. I won't tolerate that. Number 4, trust God to love you and seek to please him above all others. Recognize that you are overly dependent on a person and determined to look to God to meet your needs for significance, love, and security. The cure for codependency is developing an increasingly intimate relationship with God, with Jesus. So this is it. This is it, right? So you're determining to look to God to meet your needs, because we have the need for significance, love, and security. We have those needs. But often women especially, we run to a guy to tell us that we have significance and value, and we look to them to make us feel loved, and they're our security, and this is never going to work out well. We become totally codependent then. So the cure really is developing this increasingly close, intimate relationship with Jesus where he truly is your number one. You're secure in him. And then from that place of security, when this person gets totally out of line, you're like, you pray, should I help them? Should I not help them? You listen to God's counsel. If they're treating you badly, you can go, oh, I don't need to put up with that. You can walk away because you're not dependent on this person. Also, ask God to help you overcome the codependent fear that you will lose the love of others when you allow them to suffer the consequences of their sinful or irresponsible actions. Because often we're very fearful. There's like this root fear kind of thing, like, but if I stand up to this, what if they get upset? What if they walk away? What if they leave me? But see how that's codependent thinking? Like you're just going to crumple up and die if they were to walk out the door? No, you're not going to crumple up and die because you have a relationship with Christ, and he said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Let go of your super responsible mentality and trust God to be actively working in the life of your loved one. Okay, this is hard for me, I'm just going to say, because I have been the super responsible mentality queen. I own this area. I own this territory. I own this territory. Some of you, because I hear the laughter, how many of you feel kind of like you have the super responsible mentality going on? Some of you, okay. Yeah, and so I'm like, well, I just have to take care of everything because, God equipped me and I'm ready to take care of it. So just, I don't know. And so it's like, it's hard for me to trust my husband with like, shouldn't I be helping? Because I think you need my help, God. I think I need to help him. Or my adult children. It's like, well, I think I better help them. Like God can't take care of them. Like God could not take care of them without my assistance. This is called a Messiah complex.
That sounds better that way.
Some of us have a Messiah complex.